All right, y'all, we back, and back again. All right. So listen, it's time for some more conspiracy theories and unexplained mysteries. But before we get to the video, I need y'all to help me unplug some more people out of the matrix and attack this algorithm. Hit that like button, man. Make sure y'all smash the like button. And if you new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the family. With that being said, let's check this stuff out.
If you're following stuff about aliens and about UFOs and what U.S. lawmakers are saying about all of this, you know things are very confusing right now, and deep fact-checking takes time, so just know that I am working on it. But speaking of time, we always have time to talk about the biggest questions in the universe with a professor I consider to be one of the greatest minds in the universe, none other than theoretical physicist Dr. Michio Kaku. Professor, thank you so very much for joining us. I know you've been following this whole UFO, UAP, Congress finally taking things kind of seriously saga. But let's just put all that aside for today, because so much of the conversation today about UFOs seems to be centered around this idea that if they do exist, they have come from some other planet. But instead of just asking where they come from, do you think we should be asking when?
Well, first of all, journalists always say, follow the money, follow the money. We physicists say, follow the data. And previously, we didn't have much data to go by except somebody saw something in the sky. What does that mean? Now we have hours of videotape from the United States Navy. We can measure the data from these videotapes. We now know that these objects can travel between Mach 5 and Mach 20, up to 20 times the speed of sound.
20 times the speed of sound, bro. What are we dealing with? I think that's the question. What are we dealing with? And we got to get in the habit of, I don't know, I'm going to start posing the question to y'all. Are they the aliens or are we? That's something I've been thinking about. Are we here? Did we do something and take over this land and claim it as ours, but somebody else was here first, i.e. them? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I need to know that stuff, bro. But, whoo, look how fast they traveling.
From these videotapes. We now know that these objects can travel between Mach 5 and Mach 20, up to 20 times the speed of sound. They can drop 80,000 feet within a matter of a few seconds. Not only that, they can also fly underwater. We have videotapes of, yes, them diving into the oceans and then swimming underwater. Now, we don't have that capability with our rocket ships.
What?
Our rocket ships.
What the? Whoa. That's, if not them traveling that fast in the sky was a game changer. Them being able to drop down and go underwater and switch the game up like that is just, that's different, fam. What can we do with that? We're like, I don't know, man. We're weaponless against that, aren't we? That pretty much ties our hands behind our back. For something to be able to go that fast in the air and have invasive maneuvers and stuff like that, and then be like, okay, maybe we gaining ground on them, and then they just drop. What do you say, 80,000 in a matter of seconds? 8,000 or whatever it was in a matter of seconds, and then hit the water, and then go under, bro.
Water. Now, we don't have that capability with our rocket ships. Our rocket ships are not maneuverable like that. They can't go between Mach 5 and Mach 20 within a matter of a few seconds. But these objects are now on tape. We have videotapes of these things, and we physicists are now taking them apart frame by frame to analyze what is the state of their technology. And so far, it seems to be beyond anything that we can field with our arsenal.
So if it's beyond what we can build from our arsenal, there seems to be a bunch of different possibilities. One of them is that if they're capable of traveling this fast, they traveled across the universe. I gotta ask, do you think it's likely that we're seeing a higher intelligence coming from a different part of the universe, or is there a possibility that they may be slipping the bounds of physics or at least dimensions as we understand them today?
Well, it used to be that the burden of proof was on the eyewitness accounts. Martha, I see something in the sky. That's not a burden of proof. Now the burden of proof is shifted. Now the military has to prove that these aren't extraterrestrial.
How?
And just remember that a Saturn rocket traveling at tremendous velocities would take 70,000 years just to reach the nearby stars.
Right.
And these objects apparently can navigate between star systems in less than 70,000 years, which means that there's a technology involved here that is beyond anything that we can feel here on the planet Earth. And so this—
And see, that makes sense as to why maybe the government is being hush-hush about certain things, because they're trying to obtain that technology to be able to do that. We've talked about that in our space conversations. The reason why we can't get to certain planets or wherever we trying to get to is because of that time distance up there, bro. It takes so long for you to get from point A to point B. So maybe they are trying to, but still, that's no reason to keep it from us. But still, maybe they are trying to obtain that, figure out what that technology is. So if something crashed and landed, then yeah, they took it, and started researching it to try to obtain that type of technology. I get that. I just hate that they keep it from us.
Here that is beyond anything that we can feel here on the planet Earth. And so this is not proof. We're still analyzing these photographs, but we need more data. And for those of you out there who want to email us scientists about their sightings, we have a word of advice. The next time you are kidnapped by a flying saucer, for God's sake, steal something. A pen, a pencil, a chip, an alien technology. Steal anything, because there's no law. There's no law against stealing from an extraterrestrial civilization.
How many of y'all just put that in y'all mental Rolodex, right? I just stored that, downloaded that, and put that in my mental Rolodex, bro. Oh, I locked that in. I know that now. Can't go to jail for that one.
There's no law against stealing from an extraterrestrial civilization. And maybe we'll have bragging rights after you come back from outer space.
I can't wait to see that played in some sort of intergalactic court where it's like, well, Dr. Michio Kaku said it was okay.
Right, right.
I want to ask a little bit more. Do you think it's more likely that that these could be possibly time travelers through, it seems like a lot of the descriptions that we hear are still relatively close to humanoid figures or using conventional shapes that we're used to. And yet, Fermi paradox, you look at all the different planets out there, you know that the composition is not like it is on Earth. What do you think is more likely? That these things are, if they are true, traveling across space or traveling across time?
Well, put it this way. On average, when we scan the heavens and look for planets circling around other stars, on average, 1 out of every star has a planet going around it. Now, within the galaxy, we're talking about tens of thousands of stars, and yet every single one of them on average apparently has a planet going around them. So how many planets are there? Therefore, we're talking about billions of planets right in our own backyard. So we can't dismiss the possibility that these objects could have a technology beyond anything we can muster.
Exactly. That's the same thing we've been saying, y'all. You can't, with all of that amount of planets out there, fam, you mean to tell me, I've been saying this, I've been standing at the top of the mountain screaming this, you mean to tell me that we are the only ones out there? Forget about the technology. Just with that massive amount, he's talking billions. Y'all mean to tell us we're the only ones out here? What's the odds of that?
Now, traveling near the speed of light, we can't do that.
No.
But there is a theory that says that wormholes may allow us to take a shortcut through space, just like Alice would go through the looking glass to go from Wonderland to Oxford. And so that's a technology that does seem to be within the known laws of physics. But other than that, we physicists have a hard time getting our heads around the fact that if these things really are extraterrestrial, this means they can sweep across the galaxy in a blink of an eye. We can't do that.
So let's say that's true. When it comes to time travel, or I mean, you study string theory. Is there a possibility that they may be that we as three-dimensional beings that can kind of perceive this fourth dimension may not be able to see everything around us?
Well, Stephen Hawking, the cosmologist, before he passed away, said that wormholes may take us faster than the speed of light as far as space is concerned. Time travel, he was a little bit more skeptical about because of the fact that if you go backwards in time and do it repeatedly, you would create a loop and you would create enough energy to blow the whole thing apart. Whoa. And your time machine would explode. However, there's a fault within Stephen Hawking's proof.
See, I never thought of it that way, of yourself creating a loop. I always had the fear of, if you traveled back in time, the slightest movement or thing that you do, I always thought that you would alter the future. So that's why I've always been a fan of watching it, but I never would want to if I had the opportunity to travel back in time. I never would want to, because I wouldn't want to alternate anything in the future, or you know what I mean? So but to create a loop, never thought of that. And then your time machine explode because of that. Oh, that's different. that's a different thought process now.
Machine would explode. However, there's a fault within Stephen Hawking's proof. You see, if you go backwards in time, the river of time may fork into two rivers, in which case, when you save Abraham Lincoln from being assassinated at Ford's Theater, you've actually split the universe. So in one universe, Abraham Lincoln survived the assassination attempt. That's when the river of time forks into two rivers. In that situation, you don't have this time loop. You don't have this infinity of universes going backwards and forwards through the time loop. And then maybe, just maybe, you can go backwards in time. I wouldn't bet on, but you can't rule it out either.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the beginning of the multiverse. And with that, we ran out of time. Dr. Michio Kaku, to be continued. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hold on, y'all. I want to look at something else.
Thanks for watching.
That's crazy, though, when you think about that like that. Man, I never thought about that. The way he put it, as far as, okay, maybe this person has survived assassination, but in this parallel universe or whatever it may be, he didn't. Or he didn't survive here, and then in this one he did. So that's crazy. Let's see what Elon's talking about.
The only advantage human beings have or have ever had is they're the smartest beings on the planet. But soon that will not be true. In fact, like next week. So when AI becomes stronger than we are, what do you do exactly? And what does it mean for democracy? We asked Elon Musk about contingency plans for dealing with advanced general intelligence. Here's part of that conversation. You've heard people say we should just blow up the server farms because there's no way to, once this gets rolling, there's no way to slow it down. What do you think of that?
Well, the really heavy-duty intelligence is not going to be distributed all over the place. It'll be in a limited number of server centers. If you say very sort of deep AI, heavy-duty AI, it's not going to be in your laptop or your phone. It's going to be in a situation where there's like 100,000 really powerful computers working together in a server center. So it's not like subtle, and there are a limited number of places where that can happen. In fact, you can just look at the heat signature from space. Yeah. And it'll be very obvious. I'm not suggesting we go and blow up to server centers right now, but there may be it may be wise to have some sort of contingency plan where the government's got an ability to shut down power to.
Agreed. If these things are going to be working together and also getting smarter by the day, bro, that scares me, and I'm with that. We need to have some kind of kill switch or some kind of something to say, hey, nah, that made me nervous. I don't like where this is headed. Let's stop it right now.
These server centers, you don't have to blow it up. You can just cut the power.
And what would trip...
Or cut connectivity as well. That's another way.
Right.
Yeah.
But what would trip that switch, do you think, in your mind? What would be the threshold?
Right. Good question.
That you'd have to pass to warrant the government cutting off your power or cutting off your signal.
And who's to say that they don't get smart enough to know that we have the ability to hit that kill switch? See, that's the thing they don't think about as well. If these things are going to be smart and super and highly intelligent, they'll know that we have the ability. What if they don't put contingency plans in place to prevent us to be able to hit that kill switch? He don't even know.
Well, I mean, I guess if we lost control of some super AI, like for some reason, like the things that would normally work to do a passive shutdown, like the administrator passwords, if they somehow stop working, where we can't slow down or I'm not sure. I don't have a precise answer, but if there's something that we're concerned about, and are unable to stop it with software commands, then we'll probably want to have some kind of hardware off switch.
Yes.
I think can't hurt.
Have you talked to, since you know
Well, I
Larry
have one,
Page and you obviously you know the OpenAI guys because you started it.
Definitely have one.
Have you talked to the people who run the biggest AI companies about this recently?
No.
I haven't talked to Larry Page in a few years because he got very upset with me about OpenAI. So when OpenAI was created, it did shift things into from a unipolar world where Google and DeepMind controlled, like I said, 3/4 of all the AI talent, to where there's now sort of bipolar world, or OpenAI and Google DeepMind, and they're and now weirdly, so it seems OpenAI is maybe ahead. So I have had conversations with the OpenAI team, Sam Altman. I haven't talked to Larry Page because he doesn't want to talk to me anymore for a few years.
Can I ask you just about, since you've been around a lot of this, the thinking? So why would anyone not be a speciest, be human-centered in his thinking about technology? Like, what's the thinking there?
I think what he's trying to say is that, if I were to guess, that all consciousness should be treated equally, and whether that is digital or biological.
And you disagree?
I disagree. Yeah. Especially if the digital consciousness, or whatever you want to call it, digital intelligence, decides to curtail the biological intelligence.
Right. So you're just building your own slave master, and why would you do that?
Doesn't sound great. Yeah, I mean, we should at least no need to rush. Like, what's the hurry? Where's the fire?
How? Tell us about the hurry. So I know you've been talking about this for years, and on the sort of the periphery of our attention, we've heard Elon Musk talking about AI. But for most people, it's been like 3 months since they've had any interaction with this at all. So what's the timeline here? At what point does it start to really change our society, do you think?
I think it starts to have probably an impact this year. GPT-4, now it's like writing poetry. And
pretty decent poetry, actually.
Pretty decent. Its skill at rhyming is incredible.
Yes. Yes. And it's coherent.
Yes, it is. It's even got a narrative.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So you could say
that's hard to do.
Like, most humans can't do that.
That's true.
So it's already past the point of what most humans can do. Most humans cannot write as well as ChatGPT.
Now, I know a lot of y'all see that, and a lot of people are teaching people how to use ChatGPT to write books and to author things and create things and different things like that. And I see a lot of the comments. I go comment surfing and just reading through comments, and it's like, are you becoming lazy? Or the flip side is, are you utilizing things to your advantage? That's been the whole, I guess, debate right now. Whether or not people are just using this, becoming lazy and using it, or they're using it to their advantage. Another tool, just like a cell phone, it became a tool to us that we use to be able to further ourselves. So Y'all let me know.
And no human can write that well that fast, as the best of my knowledge. So maybe Shakespeare.
How can you have a democracy with technology like that? I mean, if democracy is, government by the people, each person's vote is equal to every other person's vote. I mean, and people are choosing their votes freely. Can you have a democracy with this?
Well, that's why I raised the concern of AI being a significant influence in elections. And even if you say that AI doesn't have agency, well, it's very likely that people will use the AI as a tool in elections. And then, if the AI is smart enough, are they using the tool or is the tool using them? So I think things are getting weird, and they're getting weird fast.
Subscribe to the...
Did you? That just gave me chills, bro. Y'all see where we headed? Prepare yourselves, man. Plan accordingly. I don't think there's going to be one of them situations where you can avoid it. It's going to be in your face. And you're going to have to figure this whole thing out and navigate these waters. Let's figure it out together. Y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what you thought of this video. And leave a like for this one, bro. It's your boy L. It's the next one. I'm gone. Peace.